Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to week 8 of our Technical Writing English 235 class. We are getting so close to the end, guys, like so close, so hang in there. This week we are working on our SOP, and the SOP is an abbreviation for the Standard Operating Procedure document that's due on Sunday. In the biz, we call them SOPs, not SOPs, if you were wondering. I've never heard anyone call it a SOP. But if you want to start a trend, go for it, you cool dudes. So this week, we're working on the Standard Operating Procedure. We've got a lot of information about this in our Modules tab, but also it's always nice to take a look at the assignment itself. So if you click on the Procedure Assignment link, ta-da! Here's a whole bunch of information to walk you through it. We've got the word templates, we've got example topics, we've got example captions if you're still struggling with the APA format for a citation of an image. And we've got use of references here as well. So lots of good stuff for you as we look at categories and templates to be successful here. So lots of helpful information linked to you in the assignment. The rubrics here for you as well, so you can see exactly how our grades are going to be calculated. And then we've got our modules tab full of really useful tips and tricks to be successful. We're all done with the proposal. Here's the Standard Operating Procedure. We've got a recorded lecture on Standard Operating Procedures. I would highly recommend watching this as it goes into great detail on all of the components of this very standard kind of document. If you ever have to teach somebody how to do something, or write a manual on how to do something, or even leave instructions for someone to do something. For example, when I worked as an editor for an engineering firm, I had to write an SOP on how to forward emails for the new secretary. You could have to write something like this for anything, truly anything. So the Standard Operating Procedure is a fun document because folks tend to go about it in so many different ways, which is one of the things I love about Standard Operating Procedures. As you're thinking about the topic for your SOP, you want to think something simple to execute, because a Standard Operating Procedure is basically a set of instructions for how to do something correctly, and how to be successful in doing it while giving warnings for any possible dangers or areas where people could be commonly confused. And so people pick things that they're good at, which makes this a really fun assignment. So if you're very good at makeup, you could do a Standard Operating Procedure for how to apply an evening look. If you really like cooking, you could do a Standard Operating Procedure on how to make the world's best banana bread. If you enjoy anything, truly anything, if you like building things, pick something simple to build. If you like eating things, you could write a Standard Operating Procedure for the correct way to eat something complicated. Like, what's that kind of fish that's super poisonous if you do it wrong? A blowfish or puffer fish, something like that. So lots of fun things. Pick something that interests you, something that you're good at, something that you enjoy, and write a Standard Operating Procedure, basically a set of technical directions on how to complete that task. Now, you're going to want to pick something fairly simple, like I said. Don't tell me how to build a computer, right? Because that Standard Operating Procedure is going to be like 100 pages long. And that's really long. We're shooting for like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 pages, something like that. We don't want something excessively complicated. You could do a Standard Operating Procedure on how to set up the voicemail in your phone. I had to teach my grandmother how to do that. Standard Operating Procedure would have been very helpful. So think about things you're good at. Think about a simple task and how you might be able to direct someone to do it successfully. For this assignment, we also have some usability testing. So you're going to find a friend or a family member or some random person in your environment and have them follow the instructions that you wrote on your SOP, so that you can tell if there are any gaps or any places where you assumed some knowledge on the part of your reader, anything along those lines. So the SOP is really a fun document. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys create. We do have the template for you, which is very helpful as you think about designing your own SOP. You've got an introduction, talk about safety, whether something can be particularly difficult or dangerous. If you're talking about how to safely cut down a tree, you would want some safety information about like chainsaws and sharp axes and trees falling on you, right? You might want to define any terms that are very specific to the thing you're doing. For example, if you're talking about something technical that requires technical components, you might need to define what those components are. Tools, equipments, and parts, you're going to list those. So if you were working on a recipe, you would need to list all your measuring cups and measuring spoons and bowls and blenders and mixers, as well as your flour and your sugar and your eggs and all of that other stuff as well. And then you go through the procedure, break it down into basic steps, and then do sub-steps under those to make it very, very easy for somebody to follow. You write up a conclusion that will inspire a person to complete this SOP and give them a sense of accomplishment when they're done. And then have your references at the end if you used any outside sources. You are required to use images for this. If you take the pictures, you don't have to cite them. If the pictures come from somewhere else, though, you will need to cite those. And I've got help for you to do that here. Hopefully this helps make this project that much easier. I'm looking forward to seeing what topics you guys choose and how it all comes together. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to help. Otherwise, have a great day, guys.